One of the things about working with honor students that's just a continual delight is the kind of enthusiasm they bring to the classroom.
They are deeply curious, and they are always going to ask thoughtful questions. And not only will they ask a thoughtful question, but then they will ask the next question.
There's just a level of intensity and excitement that happens in Honors 101 that I rarely find in other classes, especially in other introductory level classes.
One of the joys for me is recognizing, or helping them to recognize, that there are limits to achievement. And that maybe the most important thing in education is not what you accomplish, but the questions you're asking, the investigation that you're probing, the exploration, and the sheer play. When we really get going in a class, and when we really are connecting to a text like Babette's Feast, I think there's a liberation that we feel.
So honor scholars at Calvin, in lots of ways, are really a kind of distillation of what Calvin students are really at their best.
They are deeply engaged in their work. They are hard workers. They are respectful. They sincerely support one another.
Calvin students, I think, are marked by a kind of curiosity, a kind of openness to ideas. Honor students in particular come at this project with an interest in so many areas of study. They're good at lots of things, and they're interested in lots of things. And they move in a certain direction toward a key set of interest. But in lots of ways, they're interested in so many things, and honors becomes a place where they can explore those wide-ranging interests in a serious kind of community-based way.
One of the things that I love about the students is that they don't compete with one another, but rather they really encourage one another. They're also a lot of fun.
I'm really glad that the honors courses are interdisciplinary, because you're bringing at least two different disciplines to bear on a particular subject.
So I love teaching an interdisciplinary class, both because of the ways it makes me think about the subject even before I come to class. We spend a lot of time talking to each other about how we're going to make the literature and the history fit together. And that's exciting because it helps me find new ways to talk about history and think about the material. And I love what happens in class because we're always talking to each other as well as talking to the students, and that makes it a little bit more three-dimensional than two-dimensional. So even if I'm not teaching at a given moment, if my colleague Professor Klatt is teaching, I'm part of the class. Often I'm learning from him, I'm asking questions along with the students, he's doing the same when I'm teaching. It just deepens the conversation.
We often are asked the question, are honors courses more difficult than other courses? Honors courses absolutely are challenging. I think it's not easy to answer the question, are they more difficult? Because I think sometimes behind that question are anxieties about, will I get a good grade? Honors students get good grades. I think sometimes there's a kind of anxiety behind that question, will I be able to do this kind of work, or is it too much work? And yes, honors students are asked to do significant amounts of work. The payoff is it's meaningful, engaging, compelling work. It's fun work.
We try to engage the students in different kinds of learning, things that will stretch them, things that will encourage them to develop new skills. We also try to have assignments and activities that are a lot of fun for everyone involved. That includes not only the students, but also the faculty.
Yeah, I think honors courses really do have higher level of expectation. I think students bring that level of expectation with them, and I think that they are a lot of work. But one of the things that does is it brings a unity to the class, because we all have common cause, and we all have a common investment. And because of that common cause and the common investment, and we are literally on the same page because we're all reading the same things, there's this wonderful working together. There's this synergy, this fusion that takes place, and you can't replicate that in other walks of life, or at least I haven't been able to.